Hey Niels, how you doing? Here at the Nektar booth, Friday. How are your feet doing?
I'm feeling great, thank you. Great to have you here, Nick.
So we've got new hardware from Nektar, right?
Yep. This is the Aura Beat Composer. Basically, it's a USB pad controller. We have 16 velocity and pressure sensitive pads, all RGB illuminated. There are 8 pots. They are 360 pots, high quality, nice and firm. And of course a bunch of illuminated buttons, nice TFT display as well. It comes with a repeat engine, which we're going to look at. There's a built-in firmware sequencer as well. We're going to check that out too. Standalone. And also, of course, as always with Nektar products, we have door integration as well.
Right. Okay.
So let me take you through a little bit about how it actually works.
Okay.
Right. So the first thing is, it's paired with Nectarine. Our Nectarine software, which is up there on the screen. This is the standalone version, but it runs as an AU, VST, and VST3, and actually an AAX plugin. So you can run it in any door, basically. And it's able to host AU, VST, and VST3 plugins as well. So what I've got right there is Addictive Drums 2, and it's all mapped out on the pads. Ready to go. Everything is already set up like this because I saved with my song. I saved the entire configuration, so it just comes back, whenever I reload my song or I multi-patch within Nectarine. So let's look at how that works, because that's always the big thing: is how do I actually set up my pads? So I'm going to start here by selecting pad 9. And if I move the control, I'm able to control the change the MIDI note that's assigned to the pad in real time. So I can go through all of my different sounds, and here, when I've got the one I want, that's it. It's assigned.
So you set the kit up however you want it.
Basically,
right?
yes. So there's another way to change sounds as well. So let's say, for example, that I don't want to use a sound in this kit. I want to replace that particular sound with something from another kit, another plugin. So what I'm going to do is going to start by creating another slot in Nectarine. Then we're going to go to the browser here, and I'm going to select a tag. So let's say select snare, and now I have my snare patches. There's just a few there, and going to select one and load it up. So now this is our own bolt plugin, but it could actually be any plugin. You can use any plugin, synth sounds, collection of sample players, etc.
So you build up a kind of pad-based kit based on whatever it is you want.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. And you can have a plugin per pad if you want to go to that extreme. So we can host 16 plugins at the same time in Nectarine. So real cool. So if I want to control the plugin, I hit a pad to select it, and now I've got access to control parameters for the snare.
Right, so you've got parameter access like you do
exactly
with the regular Nectarine, right?
Exactly.
And are those pre-mapped, or are they things that you do yourself, or do they can the plugin talk to Nectarine?
Yeah.
How does that work?
Well, the experience we really want everybody to have is, of course, that everything just works. But you can also customize mapping yourself. We have a control editor in here, so you can create maps just like we're doing it, renaming parameters, set everything up exactly the way you want. Just hope that in most cases you don't have to, because
right.
what we've done is a good job. So if I go back to my my bolt sound here, I of course have immediately access to a bunch of parameters there, and can of course also control that particular synth as well. It goes really deep. We have menus with all of the different sections of the plugin available right there. Select one and control. It's as easy as that.
Right, okay.
So let's move on. We can also host for each plugin, we can host 4 effects.
So you can add a chain.
Right.
Right.
So let's say I want to add an effect to my new snare drum. So again, I'm just going to select it. Going to press FX1. And then we're going to go to the browser. And again, use tags to just narrow down my options. Maybe select a reverb, and then load medium reverb. There we go. So that's now loaded. It's a bit much reverb maybe, so go back to FX1, change the decay and maybe the bit wet parameter as well, and get the balance a bit more right.
Right, so sort of hands-on building of kits. And
Yeah.
I guess you can automate all of that stuff as well, right? If you're
Absolutely, yeah. You can automate in your DAW, every single parameter, of course, and you can keep building like this. You know, I can add up to 4 insert effects per plugin, and also I can add 4 send effects as well per instance of
So you
Nectarine.
build a really complex kit. Yeah. Right. Okay. Cool.
So let's take a look at some of the cool standalone features. You know, first of all we have the repeat engine, which I think is just great fun.
Is that based on the one that was in the keyboards?
You know our products well. Yes, it is. But I think one of the key things is we've changed the layout, so it's really good for a pad controller like this. So first of all, I'm going to select the repeat menu. And if I switch repeat on, I can switch it on and off. And then use pressure to control velocity. Then I can change the repeat rate. To make
easy access.
And there's also an accent here, so you can change the accent interval.
It's like snare drum rudimentals, isn't it?
Exactly. I'll take it off entirely by just removing the velocity offset. So yeah, this is really a lot of fun. You know, you can create just great parts and record them straight into your DAW. With DAW integration, you just hit record right there, capture
the
it.
transport ties in with the DAW, right?
Exactly, yeah. So moving on to the built-in sequencer, we've got a setup here where we have connected via MIDI an analog drum module. It's really cool, so no computer involved, but of course you can use it also with the computer. So right now I've got, I can have 16 patterns at any one time. So basically 1 pattern per pad.
Oh, so you can live switch between patterns.
Right,
yeah.
exactly. So if I want to trigger the kick drum, just hit a pad, and now I can program, of course, just the traditional step interface. And if I want to add accents, I can do that too.
Ah, so using the buttons across the top as step indicators.
Yeah,
Ah, right, I see.
exactly. And then let's kick off the snare drum part. Maybe add another part right there. And then add a hi-hat part. Let's just trigger that across all steps. And maybe add an accent.
Okay, and so this sequencer is happening inside the hardware. It's not based in
Correct.
the Nectarine. All right,
Yes.
okay.
So again, if I press record, I will record it into my DAW. And the whole point is, this is a scratch pad sequencer. That's how we think of it. It's basically meant to produce ideas. So as you're building up a drum beat, you know, hopefully you'll come up with something that's really unique. Maybe not even reproducible again, because you can do things like triggering patterns immediately or to a specific resolution.
And you can dump that MIDI into the DAW for
Yeah,
later.
and then you just press record and drop it right in.
Oh, cool.
So let's change the amount of steps we have to 3.
Ah, so we've got polymetric.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, which is really cool. Or if I go back to 16 steps, maybe I want to select the last 2, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the play rate.
Ah, so you can like parameter it set on each step.
Exactly. So you can of course just keep going like this. You can also host, of course, you know, any synth. You can play. You know,
you can trigger notes out of that.
You can trigger
so
notes.
it's got a MIDI out on it, has it?
It's got MIDI out as
okay.
well.
Yep.
Yeah.
I see.
You can use the pads also to play both scales and chords. So you can basically use it as a complete production system alongside your DAW.
Nice. So
Yeah.
When's this going to be around?
So it'll be available early March, and the price in US dollars is $349.99.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.